Super Dave here with another Super Dave review. Super Dave here with another exciting review with a MOTU Classics again. It has been a while, and that's right, we're going to take a look at Blast Attak. There it is in that original Mattel shipper box. And we're going to be taking a look at this bad boy. Let's break it open now. And here he is. And I'll be honest with you, what put this guy back on my radar, or what caused me to take a look at him, is he actually made an appearance in the Revelation series. That's right. In the Masters of the Universe Revelations on Netflix, Blast Attak made an appearance. And there he is. There it says Blast Attak, attack spelled a little different. And here is his bio card. If you'd like to pause that and read that now, you can. And that's right, he was part of the original Matty Collector series. He was an obscure, little less well-known figure in the MOTU universe, part of the Snake Men series, but also had a mechanical side of him, which made him perfect for the motherboard little plot that they had going on. But let's break this guy out of the box and take a look at Blast Attak over here in Snake Mountain. And here we are in Snake Mountain, where these evil villains gather together to meet another evil villain that has come from the fruits of the motherboard herself, as well as the help of the cult leader, Triclops. We have Blast Attak. And he comes with this nifty looking staff that could double as not only a axe, that sharp blade there, that sharp handle blade there, but also almost looks like it could be held in a certain way to be like a laser cannon of sorts with a sight on it. Or it can just be this axe staff type thing. And then he also comes, as our cult leader Triclops is posing for us, this tube. And it's a very soft goods or soft tube plastic with like a connection piece on one end that you see in his right hand, and then a handle type piece that you see in his left hand over here. And it's a very, very pliable. Doesn't have a bendy wire in it or anything, but it is very pliable. It can move around. Could not find anywhere where that plugs in Blast Attak, but you can kind of make do with plugging it into the underneath of his helmet. That helmet is non-removable, but it does have a little gap behind it on the underside there. You can kind of plug it in there and then have someone like Triclops here holding the handle as if he's programming Blast Attak. So that's one thing. But there you have his accessories. Now let's look at our Blast Attak's articulation. All right, looking at Blast Attak's articulation, we'll start with his head here. And he doesn't have a whole lot of motion. He's able to look up about that much. Really not able to look down very much because this body armor that is around him, which is non-removable, it does not have any brakes or harness clamps or latches of any kind or buckles type maneuvering where you could remove that like a lot of the classic bucks have. This one is pretty much glued together and over top of that traditional buck, except he does have kind of what we've seen in the mechanical type arms of some of the other ones like Optic, and I believe that one of these arms is shared also with our trap jaw in classics, but he's able to look up and down just very little. Of course, he can turn side to side, virtually no pivoting, not that would stay anyway. Not a whole lot of movement in the head. Of course, he can go 360 with the arm, bicep swivel. He has that ball joint in the shoulder, and he also has single jointed elbows, only swivel at the wrist, and instead of it being at the wrist, it's more at a gauntlet type area, kind of like you saw maybe with your Horde Prime arm where you could like pop this off and put something else on there, but these you wouldn't necessarily have to pop off because it doesn't come with any accessories to pop on. All right, you're going to be able to get swivel at the waist, but virtually no bending forward. I mean, you have a little bit, just a very little bit, but it is hindered because, again, this body armor. You have the ability to do complete splits with the legs, swivel at the thigh, single jointed knees. You do have a boot cut underneath this little rim here, which is nice. Then you have the ability to go down a little ways, not hardly any at all, and very limited, virtually nothing to speak of as far as a foot rocker. Definitely are seeing better articulation 100% out of the Revelation figures, or I should say Masterverse figures. Let me get that correct. But that's about it. But he is still a cool character. And again, he was in the Revelation cartoon, and so I really like having him. I can put him alongside of my Revelation figures. And speaking of that, now let's look at some comparisons. And here's where I was talking about kind of connecting that hose, that attachment looking end of it to the under part of the back of the helmet, kind of fits in there, and then have your Triclops holding that handle like he's programming somehow this Blast Attak. And then of course there is our Faker He-Man, and he's been programmed. And so just have some characters here that you can compare with. So it's really neat. I think it fits well. He's a little bit shorter, of course, than the Masterverse figures by, not quite half an inch. It's, with this tall hat that Triclops has on, it looks that way, but just a tad shorter, not, just maybe a quarter of an inch. But it looks good, I think, looks good in this scenario. Let's look at him with some other figures. And here's our Blast Attak next to our lizardly Whiplash, as well as Spike Ore here. That is part of the Masterverse line. You can see how these fit in together, looking great. I really like my Spike Ore. I've got a review up on him. Like I've said before, I was not able to ever get the Classics version, so I'm very happy to have the Masterverse or Revelation version of Spike Ore. And there's the awesome Blast Attak. We saw in the cartoon that when he's in danger or something's about to go awry, that his his needle here in his gauge will climb, and the alarm will go off, and he will explode, and then the debris or the shrapnel from his explosion can hurt his enemies, and he is ready to go into an environment where if things don't go right, he'll explode up in there and take out some good guys with him. Because our Blast Attak is an enemy for sure. And here's our Blast Attak next to our Revelation Masterverse Skeletor with the Hordak MX head, sculpt, custom head. He looks like he's a little bit unsure about him. Don't want him to explode in the Snake Mountain lobby here. And there's Classics Jitsu. And we just saw recently the revelation that Masterverse is coming out with a Jitsu soon that will be in the Masterverse line. Looks totally different, in my opinion, from this one. Definitely going to favor my Classics one. He is just awesome with that awesome gold, intimidating chopping hand. And I don't know, that one that looks in the Masterverse just doesn't seem to quite compare. Of course, we'll be doing reviews when we get these in hand, God willing, soon. But there is a look at our Blast Attak. Thank you so much for joining us. Come back next time. We're getting ready to review some more Thundercats on our Super Dave Review channel. See you soon.